Are you looking to build some automations and AI automations inside your business or client's business? And are you finding it hard to justify the ROI or let alone calculate the ROI for those automations? Well, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how at Wingrow we basically calculate this ROI and how we justify the different projects we do to make sure our clients fully understand what they're getting out of the projects we do for them. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into it. And by the way, you're going to be having this sheet, this template sheet for free at the end of the video, so stay tuned. So right now we're in this Google sheet that I've made, and you're going to see all the yellow colors here are the fields that you need to be modifying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, okay? And this video, I'm going to be showing you a real example of a small task we automated for a client to show you the extent of how much ROI you can actually get from automations when it's properly done, okay? So here we have the context switch minutes. This is to calculate when we actually do a task or fix an error on this task, how much minute is actually taking. There are studies out there that shows that every time a human switch from a task to task, it actually takes you 23 minutes to be able to focus back on what you're doing, okay? So this has a significant cost for different businesses, and if you want to learn more about it, I encourage you to go reading on it. It's super interesting. But for this specific context, I'm going to go super conservative. And I'm going to say every time we go and try to fix this one specific task, it at least takes 5 minutes of our time away because we were doing something else and now we have to open all those different windows and go and do and fix this mistake, okay? Time to fix the error, I'm going to say 1 minute because in this case, that's the time it takes to do this one execution of this task, okay? You don't need to have those two metrics there to calculate the ROI and automation, but it's going to give you more precise calculation if you do have them, okay? So think about it. Number of executions of the task per day. So this is basically a sync of data between Go high level CRM and a service provider platform. And at the end of every day, the client or during the day would need to basically go inside the service provider platform and make sure the data match with the CRM, and if they don't, just make sure they're going to be the same so the data is unified across the board, okay? So not only this is boring, this is also tedious, this is also prone to human errors, okay? And by the way, automations like boring. Anything that's boring, we like the automating, and you're going to see why. So this is the before and after. After, the automation is still going to run 8 times. But I want to put, I just want to say this is an example here. Your automations, if they're done right, they're going to scale with the business that you're working with, okay? Or your own business. So if this business grows, in 1 year, this might look like 20 data entry that you need to do every day, okay? Instead of 8. So this is super important to take into consideration because actually, if you go from having to do 8 entries to 20 in a year, this is going to take you more time during the day. So this means that this specific boring task costs you more money, either because you're doing it or your employee's doing it. So something to consider. The time per execution is about 1 minute. So the time you open Go high level, your service provider, you copy the data, you check that everything is okay. Let's say 1 minute round, okay? After, this is going to go to 0 because this is an automation taking care of it. So we can see here this is a 100% reduction. Number of people involved, this has no impact on the calculation, but this is just for you to justify to your client. Maybe something goes from needing 5 employees to needing 1 that's just going to verify. So in terms of employees, bandwidth, this is a 80% reductions, for example, okay? In this case, we go from 1 to 0, so 100% reduction. The total hourly cost of labor involved, let's say that this is the employee of my client doing this. Employee costs $40 per hour for his work, and basically that's the cost of, that's the raw cost of my client to do this task, okay? And the total hourly generating capacity, this is, in this case, the money that my client would charge his employee time to someone else, okay? So in this example, we can say it's $75 an hour. So if instead of doing manual data entry, this employee goes on the field and actually do a revenue generating opportunity, then he gets $75 an hour. So there's a net profit of 35 if we don't mind all the different taxes. Then error rate, this is a manual data entry, so this was around 5%. If after looking at all the CRMs, like 5% of the data was not correctly input. And then we can say with the automation, this goes to 0.5, just to account for all the edge cases there are sometimes that we need to fix, but eventually this is going to go down and down as we account for all the edge cases that happens when we sync everything, okay? So here we can see there's a calculation cost of errors taking into consideration the context switch, time it takes to fix an error, and basically the cost of repairing this error, but also lost revenue generated when that employee has to go fix something instead of generating revenue. Okay, so super important to take into consideration. And I'm going to explain this to you a little bit further, but we can go very conservative and just say, okay, in terms of times saved, what's the ROI, but also what's the ROI in terms of full value created, okay? If the employee goes from not having to spend time on fixing or doing this simple redundant task to actually generating revenue. And that's the full optimist scenario, okay? I'm going to explain this in a couple of minutes. Here we can see, okay, per day we'd save right now about 0.21 hours. We'd save 8.67 and labor costs and 52 cents in costs for repairing errors because they happen at 5% of the time. And the daily potential revenue unlock. So this is taking into consideration that your employee is now working to generate revenue instead of doing something that is not generating revenue. Okay, so this is the full value out of it. If I go here, you're going to see those same metrics on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly, and yearly. So you can see here very conservative. So business days, this is only when people work. This is a conservative estimate of this. You can see that the simple automation of CRM data sync costs this client $2.175 on a yearly basis in terms of labor. $130 to fix those errors that happens at 5% of the time. And if that employee spent this time that he spent basically fixing this and doing the task, could generate $4,000. Okay, so this is the hidden impact that we need to calculate and that we've done. Okay, the total value of this, if we had both together, accounts to 6.4K. Okay, so this is significant. We go from a simple, boring task to sync data in the CRM to something that can generate and potential value 6.4K. This here is only true, and mark my words, this is only true if your employee goes from doing something redundant that's not generating money to actually using this time to generate money. Okay, that's the twist in the thing. Okay, if that's not the case, then you should only use the ROI calculation here. About the savings of time, okay? Here the full year, because not all automations only operate during business days. Some automations, to scrape some things, they operate 365 days a year, and so the ROI is significantly higher if you look at this, okay? On a yearly basis here, actually the total value comes to 9.3K now, so significantly higher. And one thing I haven't mentioned, but the time saved in hours, this is actually like on a yearly basis, someone is spending 54 hours on this one simple task, okay? So if you talk to your client or you look at your business because you're doing this for your business, this is very easy to say, hey, you're spending 54 hours on this simple thing, we could make it 0, okay? This is very appealing for clients and also for yourself. If it's boring, you can be spending 54 hours on something else. That's more than a week out of the year spent on doing something boring. So important to do this. Here, we're going to see this is going to auto-populate with everything that you put, but this links to the graphics here just to show you. One thing to note here, those graphics show you a linear progress. This is not entirely true. The real truth is that those automations, depending on what they are, can be exponential in terms of values, okay? If they scale, like I said here, if we go from 8 to 20, here, well, in reality, you're exponentially saving and outputting more value, okay? Hopefully that makes sense for you. This sheet does not go in depth like this because that could make things harder to explain and just factor in, but basically you can just try to explain it like this. Hey, Mr. Klein, if you grow 10% every month, here's what happens, okay? So super important to mention. And for the final calculation here, I gave you both the conservative estimate and the total value estimate here. So the conservative estimate is this, and the full estimate is this here, okay? So if we go here and we input the cost of automations, let's just say we charge our client $1,000 to do this estimation, the ROI, so business days full value, 130% minimum, 235% minimum. So this is conservative estimate of ROI. And if we go total value, well, the client has up to 828% ROI on this, okay? If we use this value here because it's an automation that runs 365 days a year. And also, instead of using this time on doing like a redundant task, the employee spends time doing something that generates revenues, okay? So if it's an employee, we could argue here he's not actually going to work 365 days. So you could do you could do an average between the conservative estimate and the full year. It really depends here, and that's why I put both cases in here. It really depends on what you are automating. If you're automating some scraping, let's say you're scraping YouTube channels and every day you have a report, well, one, you don't have an employee doing this anymore. Two, it's functioning full-time at a year. And the potential value is immense here, okay? So yes, you would go with something like total value on a full year basis, okay? So it's really up to you to select which one of those four actually counts here. In this case, this is actually functioning full year long. I could say I'm selling this 2.5K, and Mr. Clients, your ROI is still going to be 271%, okay? Over the year. So it means you're almost making $3 for the dollar that you put in, okay? Truthfully, I would not sell this one automation to 1,000.5. It'd be more like something like this. Just to make sure you also get an ROI on the most conservative estimate, but also I would not only sell this one automation, I would sell a package of automation that just makes it a no-brainer offer for the client, okay? Just know, AI automation now brings a whole new depth to what you can do. You can go into, this was a simple, simple task to basically do. It takes 1 minute, but you can now with AI automate things that used to take you an hour, 30 minutes maybe, that runs. And this is in edge cases here. Let's say you do this task twice per week. So you would do, well, 2 days divided by 7 just to get the output here, because this is a number of day. And basically you can see this goes like really quickly, even for the biggest task, okay? So AI here is just like something that unlocks, let's say here you don't have to do this anymore. Oh, well, no, it's still the same technical, okay? Here we can really see that the value is exponential and AI unlocks this. So there's more opportunities now. This is the sheet that we use to basically justify the ROI for all the clients. This is super in depth. You could add a couple more things on there, like time to pay back the automation in terms of days, months. All depends on how you want to present this. We use more advanced calculation as well for bigger projects, like estimated value depending on the risk and likelihood of happening, but this is not the topic of the video. So this sheet is going to be available for you to play with and use it for your own good, for your own company. In the video description, if you like this video, please thumbs up, subscribe, and comments for your feedback. It'd be very appreciated. There's going to be more of those videos soon. So yeah, that's pretty much it.